Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my cerebralites. It's me, the Cerebral Diva, back with another episode of RealiTea. That's TEA because I give it to you piping hot. So grab your cups, grab your saucer. Let's sit down and talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta season 9. I forget. It's like episode 29. I don't remember. It's been so long of a season. But part 3 of the historic 4-part reunion. Okay, so the first thing I want to say, right? I created a video a few weeks ago about why was Porsche crying. So there have been all of these different theories that have been floating around the internet. In the ether, people were speculating that Todd accused Porsche of sleeping with Apollo, and then people would chime back and say no, she's crying over this fake cease and desist letter. I just want to say everyone was wrong. So all of those people who kept writing me, telling me, oh, you're wrong, you're right, I was wrong, but so were you. It was not about a fake cease or desist letter. It was about the fact that Phaedra is a liar, and tonight we saw her get caught up in her own web of lies. So before I talk about everything else, let's just dive right into the juicy part. So there was Shamia. Shamia was really a standout on tonight's episode. If Cynthia doesn't step her game up, if Sheree doesn't step her game up, Shamia was definitely vying for a peach tonight. She came out on 10. I mean, and she started from the moment she sat down on the sofa. She just did not stop going in on Phaedra, and I loved every second of it because Phaedra is the queen of reads, but tonight I think she met her match. And part of the reason I think she met her match was because she was faced with the truth. Shamia confronted her with facts, and it was hard for Phaedra to counteract the facts that Shamia was hitting her with. I mean, it was like gut punch after gut punch after gut punch to the point where Phaedra couldn't even read anymore. She just had to call Shamia a whore because that was the last thing that she had left. And you know, when you stoop to name calling, it's pretty much it's all over but the singing or the crying, I should say. So that was fantastic. But like I said before, there was all of the speculation going on about what happened, who said what, whatever. But here was the coup de grace. This was the epic moment that we've all been waiting for. So we know that there's been all of this sort of lesbian rumors floating around, which I've said before 1,000 times. I think it's so stupid that we as Black people, people of color, are making such a big deal out of two women who love each other and sort of turning the act of two women being in love into some sort of evil or malignant thing. If you love who you love, it's not my business. If I don't have to sleep with them, frankly, I don't give a damn. So what happened was, it's getting close to the end of the episode. They've talked about everything. Bob has come out. Peter's come out. Todd has come out. There's been exchanges between Kenya and Phaedra, Kenya and Porsche. And finally, Andy starts asking questions. And Candy and Porsche get into an exchange about why the two of them were sort of at odds. And Porsche's, she started talking about how she was a journalist and she worked. Oh, this woman doesn't eat. I don't even think she could. If Andy would have asked her to spell journalist at that particular moment, she would have been dumbfounded. So she started invoking her journalistic privileges, saying, I'm a journalist and I believe in facts and blah, 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 blah. And being that, Candy has had me served with a cease and desist letter, I'm going to let Phaedra speak on my behalf since she's the one who told me that Candy wanted to drug and rape me. So that was the sort of big revelation tonight. The whole rumor about Candy wanting to drug and rape Porsche, it didn't come from the streets. It came from trash being i.e. Phaedra, but it did not come from the streets. Phaedra is the catalyst for this rumor mill. And she sat there. This woman is a different type of evil. She's a different type of evil. And this is what makes me so mad about these religious people. These people who have prayer cloths and, are always constantly invoking God and the Lord. And, Phaedra is the worst type of person. Because she likes to wear this mask, this cloak of goodness, this cloak of wholesomeness. But she's an evil person. And when I see this episode, and knowing that she's capable of A, falsifying documents to put Candy's name on there, and B, lying and creating a rumor that was completely baseless. How could people not believe that she didn't know what was going on with Apollo? She's probably a bigger con artist than Apollo. Phaedra is she is the con artist. I refuse to believe that she had absolutely no prior knowledge. She was not privy to any information of what was going on with Apollo. She's probably the one who was teaching him how to do it. Oh my gosh. So, if you guys haven't seen the episode, what I did tonight, I actually put up a video where it's me actually listening and commenting. So you don't get to see the video, but you can hear me listening to the show and commenting, so you can sort of listen along with me. But you guys have to go watch and see for yourself. I can't wait to see what happens to next week. Tomorrow is next Sunday is part 4, and this is when everything comes to a head. And we really get to see the fallout from the revelation that happened tonight. It looks like pretty much everyone scatters and emotions get really, really high. We see Candy crying. We see Phaedra, we see Porsche crying. I don't think we saw tears from Phaedra. You know, oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say. Now, there's been all these rumors that she's been fired from the show. And after seeing what happened tonight, I don't know how they can invite her back on the show. Who wants to be associated? And people always demonize and vilify Kenya and make it seem like Kenya is this evil person. But this is an evil on a whole other level, because it's so manipulative. You know, she was really the puppet master, and she found the perfect sort of minuet, if you will, in Porsche, because Porsche is so easily pliable. She's so easily influenced. She's malleable. You can form her and make her to whatever you want to make her into, because she doesn't know who she is. And Phaedra saw that and completely exploited that. Now, Phaedra knew tonight they made comparisons to Survivor about the two of them forming an alliance because they were essentially voted off the island. And so now it's going to be really interesting to see what transpires moving forward. I don't know who's going to befriend Phaedra. The only one that she can have some semblance of a relationship with at this point would probably be Sheree. Kenya, and I was going to say Cynthia, but Kenya and Cynthia are pretty close. And I think that based on the fact that Kenya and Cynthia are pretty close, that I couldn't see Phaedra forming a relationship with Cynthia. And, you know, a lot of people are kind of saying Cynthia's a little boring and a little dry. So I'm not even sure if Cynthia's not going to get voted off the island for next season. But I definitely don't see there being a place for Phaedra to be on next season, because who would want to film with her? So it's going to be really interesting. So now that I've given you guys the meat, because, you know, I don't want to hold you longer than necessary. So if you stick around, now we can talk about what else happened during the episode. So toward the earlier part of the episode, we saw Peter come out, you know, and he professed his love for Cynthia, and, you know, how he didn't want this marriage to dissolve. But unfortunately, Cynthia just was not having it. And one of the things that I love about Cynthia is that Cynthia really took her own happiness into her own hands and took control over being happy. She wasn't happy with Peter, and she wasn't going to play the, you know, let's put on a brave face for, you know, for purposes of maintaining a good look in public. She's like, I'm not happy. I don't want to be here, you know. And I personally think that Cynthia just lost her sexual attraction for Peter. Now, I know I'm not alone. I know there are other women and other guys out there. You've been in relationships with people that you really love. Like, they're great people. You have great chemistry as friends. But for whatever reason, that sexual component, that physical chemistry is just something that's lacking. And it's not something that you can put your finger on. But for whatever reason, over time, it just diminishes. And that's how I feel about Cynthia. I remember a couple seasons ago where she was talking about them not having sex. And, you know, she was blaming it on fibroids. And while that might have played a part in it, I think it was also psychologically, she just wasn't really attracted to him anymore. And so when you start feeling that, it's not just bad for you, it's unfair to keep a person in a relationship where you know you're not going to be able to give them 100% of what they're worth having. So I think that by divorcing Peter, it's not only good for Cynthia, it's good for Peter as well, because it allows him the space to move forward in his own life. So kudos to Cynthia for at least having the compassion to put that marriage down. What else did they talk about tonight? Obviously Kenya and Porsche went back and forth. I mean, that's become redundant at this point. These two just can't stand each other. The funniest thing though to me tonight was Kenya calling Porsche Elvis. She called Porsche Elvis based on her haircut, and that, you know, that their haircut is a little Jailhouse Rockish, you know, blue suede shoeish. If we have to be honest, Kenya was spot on in that read, so that was hysterical to me. Porsche said something about Kenya's breasts being long, and one of the things I find so interesting is that now we know Kenya has man problems. I don't think that it's necessarily a case of Kenya not being able to find the man. I think it's more so a case of Kenya always choosing the wrong man. Kenya is a beautiful woman. You know, I'm not into girls, not my thing, but I know that there have to be guys who are clamoring. She's not just beautiful, she's actually intelligent, and she's really smart. Believe it or not. Now, she can be annoying, and that might be a deterrent for a lot of guys, but there are a lot of guys who will push through that. So I don't know why she hasn't found a man, but I definitely think that one is in her near future. If she learns, and part of me wonders what she's like in a relationship versus who she is on this show. Because to some extent, to make reality television interesting, you have to portray a character. And I don't believe that the person we see on reality TV is actually the real Kenya in real life. So maybe she's different. But once again, speaking of guys, the whole African conversation came up again. I don't know who these rich Africans are, but I definitely need to connect. Every single season since, I believe, back when Kenya got the was it a My Box that she got? There's been all of this African talk. Africans. So whoever the African connect is, can you guys please drop me an email at cerebraldiva@yahoo.com so I can get plugged into, because I definitely need a rich African on my team if they're just that abundant. So I don't know where these rich Africans in Atlanta are coming from, but if I move again, I definitely know I'm moving either to Africa or to Atlanta so I can have a direct connect to Africa. Let's see what, so Bob came out tonight. He actually looked, you know, Bob is a little scary looking to me. He's just, I don't know, he's a different type of guy. But he actually looked pretty handsome tonight. Looked like he had some Beijing and some sort of, I don't know, some sort of gloss or polish in his beard. His beard was illuminating. The beard was on like 10. So he looked really good, and he apologized about some of the things that he said and done to Sheree. But to me, it's a day late and a dollar short. If I was Sheree, I would just head for the hills and not look back. I just don't think that Bob is good for any woman. Just like Porsche, I think that Bob is really Bob is a man child. You know what I mean? He's just so immature. He is in a perpetual state of arrested development. He's never going to be the guy that you want to stand up. Like, he'll have flashes of brilliance where you'll think, oh my God, he's changing. But as soon as you think that he's changing, he goes right back to that sort of juvenile, sophomoric behavior that, for me as a woman, would get old really, really, really quick. So he came out, he apologized, and I don't even think that the apology was, I don't want to say it wasn't genuine, but I think that it was forced to some degree because he realized how bad he looked on TV, and he knew that he had to redeem himself in some way, shape, or form. So he apologized to Sheree, and Andy asked him if he had conversations with Cairo, and, you know, he really said that he hadn't. And so I don't know how these people are not having conversations with their kids, because clearly they're seeing the same episodes that we're seeing. And Cairo is not a child. Cairo is a man. So he has to be aware of what's going on. And so Bob came out. What else happened? Todd came out. He and Porsche got into an exchange. Oh, I forgot to say, when Peter was out and he and Cynthia were having their little exchange, you know, he really professed his love for Cynthia and said that he didn't want the marriage to end, and he really still loved her. And he confronted Porsche, asking her why wasn't her Todd there. And Porsche sort of tap danced around the issue, but I think Todd realized that Porsche is just a bad look. I think he works in politics, and I think he mentioned something about working in some sort of religious organization as well. And I don't know how you work in a religious organization and date Porsche. It just doesn't seem like those two things are compatible. But so Todd didn't show up. So Porsche said that they were texting all day, but it didn't seem like she was being genuine in that particular instance. So, and then Andy kept pressing her about why Todd wasn't there. And so she finally admitted to the fact that the two of them were no longer seeing each other. And I think that it's smart. I think that it's smart for Todd to just move on. Until Porsche figures, Porsche is a sort of Kenya 2.0. Porsche is a beautiful woman, not smart as Kenya, but she's definitely a beautiful woman. I'm trying to think of what else I can say about her, other than I think she's pretty. I don't think that she's smart. I think she's pretty. She's probably really nice. So maybe she's a really nice person. That's about the best I can give Porsche. She's a really pretty, and she seems really nice, like a really sweet person. But that's about it. So I think that it's really smart for Todd just to move on, because Porsche is not marriage material. I'm sorry. I mean, unless you want a trophy wife. If you want a trophy wife, then you go to Porsche. If you're looking for someone that you can bounce ideas off of, have pillow talk and actual conversation, discuss business plans and so on and so forth, Porsche is not the woman that you want. If you're looking for a woman who can help grow your business, help you with filling out loan applications, help you, just grow as a man, I don't see Porsche being, anytime, like I've said before, anytime a woman doesn't know what the Underground Railroad is, she's not ready to be a wife, and she's certainly not ready to be a mother. Can you imagine Porsche trying to help a child with homework, and, it's like Black History Month? Oh my gosh. Like, I can't even fathom. So Todd didn't show up. Porsche was there by herself. Well, she was there with the frick to her frack, or the frack to her frick. And so frick and frack are now fractured. That relationship dynamic is forever altered based on what happened tonight. I don't know how they could ever recover from that. Let's see what else happened tonight. Like I said before, Shamia came out. She sort of read the eyes out of Phaedra. What else happened? I think that's pretty much everything that happened tonight. All in all, it was still, now Bravo has been teasing us for so long that we're all waiting for just this explosion of activity. And it's like how, when you go to you see a trailer for a movie, and they show you all of the sort of dynamic parts of the movies, and you go see the movie and you're like, well, damn, all the cool parts were shown in the trailer. That's kind of what this reunion feels like. It feels like they've been teasing us with all of these sort of sensationalized trailers, showing us the good parts, that now that it's unfolding, it's a little bit of a letdown, and you're wondering, why would they stretch this out to 4 episodes? Because it definitely could have been condensed into 2, maybe 3 at best. So anyhow, you guys, that's really about it. I'm trying to think if I missed anything else that happened tonight. Yeah, Todd came out. He confronted Porsche. Porsche and Candy had their exchange about, who said what, who did what. Nothing really happened monumental other than finding out that Phaedra was really the source of these rumors, as far as Candy raping and this whole sex dungeon thing. So nothing beyond that really unfolded tonight. The only really other thing to me that happened that was big is that I'm now rooting for Shamia to get a peach next season. Definitely she has to come back in a friend capacity, because we have to see exactly how her role evolves next season, her role in everything that's happened, because she's definitely had a very central part in this season's drama. So that's about it, you guys. As always, in closing, remember to live better, love harder, think smarter. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, please. What else do I want to say? Follow me across all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I'm Cerebral Diva on all platforms. So it's spelled just as it's spoken. So if you can spell, you can find me. And shout out to my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I just want to say, I created this page probably about maybe a year ago, and it was just sort of dormant. I wasn't doing much on it, And about a month ago decided, you know, I really want to get back into YouTube. And this was, you know, I did YouTube back in like 2007, 2008, and I stopped in around 2011. And so this is sort of my reintroduction into YouTube. And I just want to say that I'm seeing it grow exponentially and at an accelerated pace, far faster than I expected it to. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribing. Thank you to everyone who's hating. I love the haters too. Without the haters, I don't know where I would be. You guys definitely help my channel grow as well. But for those of you who come and watch, and those of you who truly support, I really want to say thank you to you, because this is, you're the reason why I do this. You know, when I come to YouTube, I hear all of these sort of funny reviews and people trying to be funny, you know, and I didn't want to make a channel like this. I wanted to make a channel where we talked and spoke like adults, you know, where we're not trying to necessarily throw people on the bus, not trying to be funny, where you just have an open dialogue about a program that we all like, which is The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and a couple of other shows that I like as well. So I appreciate your support. I thank you so much. Look for more commentary from me. Look for more material coming from me. Look for better quality material coming from me, because as I grow, I definitely want to show you guys the growth in terms of the quality of product that I'm bringing to you. With that being said, have a fantastic day as always, and I will talk to you guys again soon.